In Washington, D.C., power flows through information. But what happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? In the halls of power, a national security advisor makes a fatal miscalculation. On the other side of the world, a special forces team walks into a perfectly orchestrated trap. When the dust settles, 4 American soldiers are dead, 3 more captured. And the most catastrophic intelligence breach in modern history is just beginning to unravel. Signal Lost, a 6-part podcast thriller about betrayal, courage, and the devastating consequences of a world where even our most guarded communications are never truly secure. When everyone is listening, nowhere is safe. Signal Lost. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what animal can sleep for 3 years without eating? Neither did I until I started hosting 5 daily trivia questions. Hi, I'm Mark Ellison. Every weekday, I'll challenge you with 5 brain-bending questions spanning history, pop culture, science, and more. Perfect for your morning commute or lunch break. 5 daily trivia questions. And by the way, it's the snail that can sleep for 3 years. 5 daily trivia questions wherever you get your shows.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where when George Washington chopped down a tree, you guys didn't complain, this is Ballot.
That's right. Washington should have been sent to a gulag in El Salvador. Let's hit this. Ladies and gentlemen, the mummy has risen. Former President Joe Biden has emerged from his presidential crypt to criticize the Trump administration. And wouldn't you know it, he waited until after 8 p.m. to do it. I guess even political zombies need their beauty sleep. Hi, I'm Patrick Gutfield, and before we begin today, I just want to say Biden is the worst ever. So is Hillary and Obama, and I don't want to go to El Salvador this summer. Also, Harvard sucks. The 82-year-old Biden finally broke his post-presidency silence in Chicago, claiming the Trump administration is taking a hatchet to the Social Security Administration by pushing out 7,000 employees, and he did this all while never once mentioning Trump by name. That's like me giving a restaurant review without mentioning the food, which coincidentally is exactly what happens when Biden tries to eat solid food. Biden warned that for the first time in history, Americans might see their Social Security benefits delayed. He reminisced about his lengthy career, joking that he was a senator 400 years ago, which shows how far his memory has slipped, when the real number is 97. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt fired back, announcing Trump would sign a memorandum to stop illegal aliens and other ineligible people from getting benefits. Like that tight end who lines up offside. No benefits for number 87, repeat second down. Trump previously claimed the program is paying thousands of people who are supposedly 160 years old, a claim that's been thoroughly debunked, as Joe Biden went to school with those people and attended all their funerals. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley slammed this as the big lie about a massive zombie apocalypse of dead people. Interestingly, Social Security benefits was the main plot of season 11 of The Walking Dead long after you stopped watching. President Trump has a new solution for crime in America. Just ship the criminals to other countries. During El Salvador, President Nayib Bukele's White House visit, Trump casually suggested he'd like to deport American citizens who commit violent crimes. When asked directly if he was talking about fully naturalized U.S. citizens, Trump doubled down faster than a blackjack player with 2 aces. If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over the head that happen to be 90 years old, if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, Trump responded, apparently forgetting about that pesky little document called the Constitution, which if you ask me, we should just get rid of. Did I mention I don't want to spend the summer in El Salvador? Trump did acknowledge, I don't know what the laws are, we always have to obey the laws, which might be the understatement of the century. Online reaction has been about what you'd expect, absolute chaos, with many questioning if this is even real. The good news is, the United States doesn't currently have a legal framework for exiling its own citizens. The bad news is, well, I think you can figure that one out. Meanwhile, it looks like Harvard decided to take its $53 billion endowment and put it where its mouth is. The Ivy League giant has just told the Trump administration to take its demands and shove them right back into the Oval Office. After receiving what one former Harvard president called McCarthy on steroids, Harvard President Alan Garber took just 72 hours to decide that Harvard wouldn't play ball with the White House's list of demands that would have essentially let the government run the university. The Trump administration wanted Harvard to ban masks at protests, reduce faculty power, adopt merit-based admissions, shut down diversity programs, and submit regular compliance reports until 2028. In response, Harvard basically said, "We've been around for 388 years, and we'll outlast you too." Joe Biden backed them, saying, "I was there when Harvard was founded." Now the government is freezing over $2.2 billion in federal funding, with nearly $7 billion more at risk, including money for Harvard's hospitals. They've even threatened the university's tax-exempt status. Even for the world's richest university, this is going to hurt worse than a freshman philosophy course after an all-night kegger. Harvard made its decision after watching Columbia University try the appeasement route. Columbia caved to the administration's demands back in March to restore $400 million in funding. But guess what? They still haven't seen a dime, and now the government wants a court-monitored agreement giving them leverage for years. The White House landscaping saga continues. President Trump has reportedly taken an axe to yet another historic White House tree. This time, a saucer magnolia sitting right outside the Oval Office window. Apparently, the tree was getting in the way of his plans to pave paradise and put up a parking lot. I mean Rose Garden. According to reports, Trump is replacing sections of the grass with pavers because he's tired of guests sinking their high heels into wet grass during events. The horror! During a Fox interview with Laura Ingraham last month, Trump complained, "The women with the high heels, it's just too much. The grass, it doesn't work." This isn't just any tree, mind you. According to the National Park Service, 3 of the 4 magnolias in the garden were planted in remembrance of John F. Kennedy. Nothing says honoring presidential legacy quite like ripping out memorial trees and replacing them with concrete. Just to think, in 50 years, someone will be upset that we're ripping out the concrete that honors the legacy of Donald Trump. This arboreal assassination comes hot on the heels of another tree removal last month. An Andrew Jackson-planted magnolia that Trump claimed was in terrible condition. He did replace that one with a sapling dubbed the Magnolia. I'm not making this up, folks. That's the actual name, and a way better joke than anything our AI ever comes up with.
Want this podcast without interruptions? Caliroga Plus delivers this show and over 20 premium shows completely ad-free, right to your favorite podcast player. We've just added exciting new series including Signal Lost. What happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes of all the interesting things that happen at the Vatican. And Pager Protocol, a thriller about getting exploding pagers into the hands of the bad guys. Plus, receive all your existing favorites like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, 5 daily trivia questions, and 5 good news stories. Apple Podcast users, simply tap the banner in your Apple Podcasts app that says, Uninterrupted Listening, Spotify and other players. Visit caliroga.com/plus. If you missed all that, check the links in the show notes. It's just $4.99 a month for no ads. Listen on any device, on any player you love, completely hassle-free.
Ever notice how the villains often steal the show? All this week, 5 Daily Trivia Questions celebrates these scene stealers with a special Villains Week event. Host Mark Ellison will take you on a journey through the fascinating world of antagonists, from the methodical Hannibal Lecter to the magical Maleficent, the calculating Moriarty to the chaotic Joker. What, no electric car manufacturers? Each day brings 5 new questions about the characters that push our heroes to their limits, and sometimes make us question which side we're really on. Whether you're a pop culture expert or just appreciate a good antagonist, Villains Week offers something for everyone. It's the perfect blend of entertainment and education that 5 Daily Trivia Questions is known for. It's Villains Week on 5 Daily Trivia Questions, available wherever you get your podcasts. Because sometimes it's good to be bad. So here's a story that'll really heat things up, and not in a good way. carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere just shot up at the fastest rate ever recorded. We're talking a 3.75 parts per million increase in 2024 alone. That's 27% higher than the previous record. You know how everyone's been counting on forests to save us from our climate mess? Well, those trees just called in sick. Turns out they're so stressed from global warming they can't absorb our pollution anymore. It's like they finally read the employee handbook and realize they don't actually get paid for this. And here's where it gets really interesting. This massive carbon spike wasn't even mainly from burning fossil fuels. Those emissions only went up about 0.8%. No, this came from our forests themselves. The Amazon and African rainforest were so parched and stressed, they actually started releasing carbon instead of absorbing it. Talk about a toxic relationship. We've been counting on these forests to clean up our mess for centuries. And now, they're breaking up with us. Scientists are blaming El Niño mixed with extreme drought conditions. Nearly 40% of the Amazon was bone dry. Rivers hit record lows, and wildfires burned through an area larger than California. That's not a climate pattern. That's nature's way of sending a breakup text. Insiders tell Ballot that Trump is looking to build a wall to keep El Niño out. The real question keeping scientists up at night? Are we witnessing a tipping point where warming triggers more carbon release, which causes more warming? It's the world's worst feedback loop. And no, you can't just delete your account on this one. So remember, kids, the next time someone tells you climate change isn't real, either are the jokes in today's show made with the help of AI.